Alright, today we're going to midpoint and distance in the coordinate plane. So first we have W is at 4, 3. So let's go ahead and put that on our graph. And B is at negative 4, negative 1. So we'll put that on our graph. We want the midpoint of these two. So there's two ways to do it. You can do it on the graph or you can do it with just the math. So the way you can think about it is x2 minus x1 is our first coordinate, and then y2 minus y1. So that would be 4, or negative 4 minus 4, which would give us negative 8, but distance can't be negative, so it's just going to be 8. And then y2 would be negative 1 minus negative 3, or minus 3, sorry, it's positive 3. So negative 1 minus 3 would give us negative 4, but again, we can't be negative, so it would be 4. So our distances are 8 and 4, but we want the midpoint of those, so we need halfway between. So half of 8 is 4, half of 4 is 2. So you start at either point and you're going to go 4 and then 2. So if we start at 4, 4 minus 4 is 0. So our coordinate is going to be 0 for our x. And then 2 away from either 3 or negative 1. 3 minus 2 is going to be a positive 1. So we'd be at 0, 1. You can also just do it on the graph. We know we need to go 4 and 2. So we're going to go 4 on our x. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 on our y. 1, 2. And we're at 0, 1. So you can do it on the graph or you can do it with just the numbers. The next thing we're going to do is find the distance of that. And to do that, you got to think of Pythagorean theorem. We just created a right triangle there. So there's a fancy formula you can use for this. That you'll see, which is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Well, we've already done the x2 and the x1 subtracted in the y, so we got 8 and 4, so we just plug this in. So we got the square root of 8 squared plus 4 squared. 8 squared is 64, 4 squared is 16. We add those up, we get 70, 80. So square root of 80, use your calculators. Square root of 80 is going to be about 8 and 9/10. So first we found the distance, and then first we found the midpoint, and then we found the distance of the line. Alright, here we're given the line AB, which is at negative 5, 4, and B is at 4, negative 2. And we need to find AC so that it is 2/3 the length of AB. I didn't put length there. Let's add that in there real quick, so you can have some good notes. Alright, so first we're going to find the distances like we did previously, so that we can find 2/3 of it. So the distance between negative 5 and 4. So negative 5 minus 4 would be negative 9, and then it can't be negative, so it's just going to be a positive 9, because distance can't be negative. So your x distance is going to equal 9, and then your y distance is going to be from 4 to negative 2, so 4 minus negative 2 is 6. So then we take each of those, and we want to find 2/3 of it. So it's going to be 9 times 2/3, and 6 times 2/3. So 9 times 2 is 18. 18 divided by 3 equals 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So we want to find AC. So we still have to start at A. And we're going to go 6 units on our X and 4 on our Y. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on our x, and 4 on our y. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are 0.10. Alright, so here we're not given a graph, we're just going to do it with the numbers. So we have x is at -3, and y is at 5, 8. And we want to find xz so that it is 1/4 xy. So again, start with your distances. So 5 minus -3 is going to give us 8. 8 minus -3 is going to give us 11. So those are our distances. So we want to find 1/4 of that. So 8 times 1/4 would be 8 times 1 is 8, divided by 4 is 2. 11 times 1 is 11, divided by 4 would be 11/4, which works out as a decimal to be 2 7500ths. So it tells us we want xz, so we still have to start at x. And from x we have to move 2 on our x and 2 7500ths on our y-axis. So -3 plus 2 would be -1. And then -3 plus 2 7500ths would give us 2500ths. So our new coordinate, to be 1/4 of the xy line, would be, z would be at -1, 0, and 2500ths.